enjoy it when you did?
Yes. Yes, and I appreciate it more. I can't add to that.
The original work. The original work is fairly short, and
Very short.
So to expand into a feature-length film, you guys had to add a lot to it. So, and that can be a dangerous proposition when it comes to fandom and how carefully they protect things. So, how did you guys approach it?
What do you want me? People are gonna hate it. Some are gonna love it. Okay. But if I did things to get people to like me, nobody would like me.
You can't please everybody,
No, you can't.
especially comic fans.
Right. Oh yeah. This could be. I mean, and it is an incredible, faithful adaptation. There are going to be people that are going to complain that it's too faithful. You know?
So just to follow up to that, when you're writing something like The Killing Joke that's got source material and then you're adding new material to it, can you take us through your prioritization process on what you kind of deem stays in the story and what new things come in? How do you
Everything stayed in pretty much. I'm talking really broad. Everything stayed in. Then it became like, where am I going to add more scenes? Like, where does it seem like a good place to add something? Because when we sat down and broke the story originally, it was like, I think we said this is about 30 minutes of material. That's it. And when I originally wrote the original screenplay, it was like Bruce Timm said, get it up to about 45 if you can. And then we're going to release it at a lower price point, and we'll just make it a short rather than a feature. When they came back to me two years ago and said, we want to make it a feature, but when they said that, I was like, there's no room to pad this anymore. I think we've padded it enough where it looks, it's seamless. Like, people who didn't, some of you guys are going to watch this and be like, was that in the book? I think that some of that stuff's going to happen. But I said, like, look, I don't know where we can make this any bigger or broader and then Bruce said, well, what do you think about doing a prequel? Like, prequel? And he said, well, what would you do? And I'm like, God, the only thing I can think of is we gotta give Barbara Gordon a character instead of having her there to get shot and then cry in the hospital and serve cocoa. I mean, she deserves. I mean, she's so important to the story. She deserves to be a character and not just a plot. So, and Bruce was like, "That's what we were hoping for." And he said, "Call me the next day." And he's like, well, "What would you do? Think about what would you do if you were going to do a prequel." I thought about it. I called him. How about we do this? And he's like, "Oh my God, yes, let's do it." Because he says it is keeping in tone with the story. It's interesting. She definitely has a character arc, that's for sure.
Brian, we all know that you're a longtime veteran, so I'm sure it takes a lot to phase you. But was there any thoughts about how, in this case, you're adapting just one of the all-time great stories of comic history?
No. It's funny. If anybody, if they would have come to me and just said, we want you to do an adaptation of a Batman comic, what do you want to do? I would have said Killing Joke. So it worked out well.
And we were talking just before you sat down about Alan Moore and his controversial relationship with adaptations. Any thoughts on adapting more or any of that stuff?
No. No, I got nothing. You know, look, I don't think he checked with Bob Kane when he wrote the Killing Joke originally.
Did the Killing Joke ever influence your Joker graphic novel that came out way back when?
Not directly, but you know, it's been it's an influential book for me, sure. I think my Joker's a bit more in tune with Dark Knight Joker.
There's a lot of talk about how dark this project is, and do you have any thoughts on that perhaps extra resonance that you might get when typically more in the past looked at as more childish fare becomes a little bit more for mature audiences?
I don't think it's that dark, but but that's just me. I hope it does really well, because I think there's some other material out there that could be produced that is R-rated, would be R-rated. And if this does well, the people with the purse strings might be willing to finance some of this.
You feel that's key for comics, to be able to have that space where they can breathe in more mature spaces without censored? Or...
None of us are getting any younger, right?
But some of the audiences are. Finally.
Some of them, but there's also the older audience, and you got to make the older material or the mature material for those younger audiences when they get older, because your tastes they naturally change, and I think that's one of the reasons. Now we're going wide. One of the reasons why people leave comics is because they get older and more mature, and their tastes change, and they're not getting stories that speak to them anymore, because they're speaking it's for a younger audience.
Well, in fact, a lot of your comics book is kind of for that next generation of readers. Right? I think the books are much more oriented to adults, like 100 Bullets and stuff. Do you see this kind of in some way aligned with that kind of approach?
I'm very aware of that. Yeah. I know I don't write for kids. I know I write the kind of stuff that kids want to read, though. That's the trick.
Any update on the 100 Bullets movie you can give us?
No, not anything. Maybe someday you'll see an elevator open up and there'll be 100 Bullets advertising in it. I don't know. The side of a bus. That's when you'll know it's going to happen.
We'll hope for an ongoing series.
What's that?
So we'll hope for an ongoing TV series.
That's what I'm hoping for.
A lot
It
of story
seems
to
so
tell.
set up for a TV show.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Stop doing comic interviews and become a head of a studio.